Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Nurse Lely's here and I'm back with another video. Today I'm doing a sit down. It's a Sunday afternoon and I thought to myself, let me do this video that I've been wanting to do. Right, I've been wanting to talk to you guys about breastfeeding, and what I want to talk about today in terms of breastfeeding is what are the benefits of breastfeeding, what are the challenges with breastfeeding, and how you can overcome some of the challenges. So I feel strongly about breastfeeding. I think that breastfeeding is the best for your baby compared to formula, but ultimately the decision lies with each woman, and women choose breastfeeding or formula feeding depending on their circumstances. But I want to talk to you guys about why you should consider breastfeeding your baby and the benefits, and also some of the challenges, because it does not go without challenges. And also because of some of the challenges, a lot of women might actually decide not to breastfeed. But what I want to say to you today is that there are solutions to some of the challenges that you can have with breastfeeding. So if you are interested in hearing all about breastfeeding and how it can benefit your baby, please do stick around and watch this video till the end. And if you enjoy it, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. Please click on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any videos that I post. And don't forget to share this video so that other people can be able to benefit from it too. So without any further ado, let's get on right to the video. Okay, so the actual word breastfeeding is an acronym. So someone came up with different meanings for all the letters in the word breastfeeding. So that's exactly what I'm going to be discussing with you guys today. I'm going to talk about the B, the R, E, A, S, T, all of the letters, and talk about all of the different benefits that all those letters come up with. I don't even know if what I'm saying makes sense, but I hope you get it. Yeah, but anyways, the first benefit of breastfeeding, let's look at the B. It's best for the baby. That's the first thing. Breast milk is the best. And it makes sense that it's the best because, I mean, it comes from the woman's body and it was designed to provide nutrition and protection to your baby. What better source of breastfeeding can there be besides you as the mother, the one that gave birth to this child, the one that conceived this child, the one that carried this child for a whole 9 months of being pregnant? So what better source than this breast milk or this feed for your baby coming from you as the source? Just think about that. How powerful is that? How powerful is the woman that a woman can be able to produce source of food for their child? It only makes sense. So breastfeeding is the best because your body as the woman always known how to take care of this baby, how to carry this baby throughout pregnancy, how to give birth to this baby. Your body was born or made or designed with that innate knowledge to know what to do to take care of this baby throughout pregnancy, to give birth to the baby, and also to feed the baby. So your body was designed for this thing, and it has all of the nutrients that your baby needs, and it's just perfect. It's at the right amount, and it's just perfect for your baby. So it is the best because, I mean, come on, it comes from you, the mother of the baby. So yeah, that's the first thing. It's the best for your baby. Formula, it is artificial. It's an artificial form of breast milk that had to be made in the lab, and yes, it will have some of the nutrients that your baby needs, but there are some things in formula that are missing, that are present in breastfeeding. Things like antibodies, that you as the mom can form if you get certain infections and your body forms antibodies to fight those infections in future. Formula milk does not have those antibodies that can protect your child against diseases because of the antibodies that you formed when you had those diseases or you came across them. So that's one of the things that make breast milk best for your baby. And then the R, it reduces the incidence of allergies. So babies who are formula fed have a higher chance of having allergies because there's a lot of different things that are used to make formula milk, but with breast milk, everything it's natural. So there's a lower chance of your baby getting allergies from something that's natural, something that comes from you as the mom, something that was designed for your baby, right? So there's a lower incidence of allergies when your baby is taking your breast milk. And then the E, it's easy to prepare. You don't have to prepare anything actually. You don't have to be sterilizing bottles, you don't have to be washing bottles, and you don't have to be mixing powder milk and water and letting it cool and all of that. It's easy to prepare because all you need to do is just whip out your breast and put that nipple in the baby's mouth. So, I mean, does it get any easier than that? So it's readily available. Breast milk is readily available wherever you are. If your baby's crying, your baby's hangry, all you need to do is just take out that boob. You don't need to be carrying bottles around, maybe going shopping or whatever. You don't have to be carrying bottles around and all of that fun stuff. All you need to do is just take out your boob and give the baby the milk. That's it. So it's very, very easy to prepare. And then the A, it's affordable. So you don't have to pay money. Guys, I don't even know how much breast milk costs. I mean, I don't even know how much formula costs. But one thing I know for sure is that it's quite pricey, especially if you have to buy it each and every month. Oh, I'm getting cold now. I am getting cold, so let me just cover up. So with breast milk, you don't have to pay a cent. It's readily available from your boob. All you need to do is just take it out and give to the baby. That's all. Simple. And as I also mentioned before, breast milk has antibodies that the baby needs to protect your baby against infections, right? So those antibodies that come from you, they are formed if you've had a certain infection in the past, and then your body will create antibodies that will fight off that infection in the future so that it doesn't make you as sick as you were probably the first time you came across that infection. So if you have antibodies, let's take for example influenza or chickenpox or whatever, or COVID. You had COVID, your body forms antibodies to it, and you're probably like very, very sick the first time. But the next time you come across that infection, you won't be that sick anymore because your body already knows the infection and it's created antibodies to fight against that infection. So your antibodies pass through your breast milk to your baby, and they can also help your baby to have immunity against those same infections so that your baby does not have to be sick or fall sick because of that infection should they come across it. So antibodies, they are not in formula milk, only in breast milk. Okay, so the S stands for sterile and pure. So your breast milk is already clean. As I said, you don't have to be preparing anything. No sterilizing of bottles, no washing of bottles, nothing. It's already clean. You just need to put that baby on the boob. So it makes things easier because it saves you a lot of time that you have to spend cleaning bottles and washing and sterilizing. And yeah, so the fact that it's already clean and sterile for your baby, you're not introducing any germs, because if you don't wash your baby bottles properly, if you're formula feeding and you don't wash them properly, you don't sterilize them properly, your baby can ingest bacteria that is not good for the baby, and then your baby can end up having things like gastritis, which is an inflammation and infection of the baby's stomach lining that can lead to things like diarrhea, or the baby can be constipated and all those sorts of things. So with breast milk, it's easier because it's always clean and pure, and there's no chance of your baby getting any bacteria or ingesting any bacteria that can cause the baby to have things like food poisoning. Like if you eat bacteria and then you have things like diarrhea, vomiting, and all those kind of things, all those nasty things. With breastfeeding, there's none of that. All right, so another benefit, so now we're going to we're going to T, the temperature of the breast milk is good. So one thing about preparing baby formula is that you always need to make sure that the temperature is right and it's perfect, because you don't want to give the baby milk that is too hot, then it can burn the baby's GIT. So and one thing that you do need to make sure of when you prepare your baby's formula, to fight germs and to kill bacteria, you need to use boiling water. So when you prepare the milk, you need to use boiling water, let it cool off, and then add your formula. And then you also need to wait a bit more to ensure that the baby formula milk is at a good temperature so that you don't burn your baby. But now with breast milk, it's already at a good temperature. It's formed inside your body, so it's warm inside. Once the baby has the milk, it's already at the perfect temperature. You don't need to be boiling water. You don't need to be cooling off water. It's already at the perfect temperature that is perfect for your baby's gut. Then the F, it fights off infection. So this point, it's also related to the antibodies that are created, especially that first milk that you have in the first few days, which is called colostrum. And those 1 to 3 days after birth, that milk is high in antibodies. So that's why it's very, very crucial for you to breastfeed your baby those first few days after giving birth, because it can help the baby get antibodies that they need to fight infections. Okay, now we're going to the E. It's easy to digest. Breast milk is easy to digest. It's like your baby was meant to drink your breast milk. So everything that has to do with the baby and the milk, like all the processes, just go smoother compared to formula. So it's easy to digest. Your baby's body already knows what to do with it, and then there will be less chances of your baby developing things like constipation or developing gas or having diarrhea. And then also another thing, we're going to the next E now for feeding. Once you established your breastfeeding, it becomes easy. So once you get the hang of it, once you pass those very difficult first few days of trying to get the baby to latch properly on the nipple and baby is sucking properly, once you get through that stage and you're able to work with your baby and do the feeds, then it's easy after that. All you need to do is just take out the nipple and let the baby feed. You don't need to learn anything else or have any other challenges. Once you've established your breastfeeding with your baby, it's easy. You just continue to do the same thing and it works. And also once your breast milk supply is established, because some other women, they struggle with establishing their breast milk. Some women don't have a lot of breast milk at the beginning, but once your body gets used to producing milk, then it gets better from there onwards. And then the D stands for it's digested easily. As I said, Your baby's body already knows how to break it down and take out all the nutrients that baby needs. No hassle, less opportunities for diarrhea, all those other things, constipation. In the eye, in breastfeeding, it's immediately available. You don't have to prepare anything. It's already there. All you need to do is whip out the boob. And then the N, it's nutritionally optimal. So it has all the nutrients that your baby needs, all the proteins that are needed to form the building blocks of your baby's cells and tissues. It has all the sugars that your baby needs to provide energy for the baby. It has everything. It has all the fats, all the minerals that are needed to form all of the processes that need to be formed in your baby so that your baby can grow and develop normally. So it's just perfect, guys. It's designed for your baby. It has everything that your baby needs. And then the last benefit, we're ending off with the last letter, G. Gastroenteritis is reduced when you are giving your baby breast milk. So gastroenteritis is when there is inflammation of your baby's gut, and then your baby can have things like vomiting, like diarrhea, as I already said, constipation, and all of that fun stuff that's not so fun. So if your baby is having breast milk, the reduced chances of your baby having those kind of things and diarrhea and all of that. So yeah, those are the benefits of breastfeeding. So there's a lot of benefits, guys, but of course every woman has the freedom to choose whether they want to breastfeed or not. And sometimes some women may want to breastfeed, but their circumstances do not allow them. But there's quite a lot of things that can help to overcome any challenges that women have that might make it difficult for them to breastfeed. So one of the challenges that a lot of women have, especially in the beginning, is establishing their milk flow, right? So, and some women are not able to start breastfeeding immediately. So it's advisable that you start or initiate breastfeeding within the first hour after your baby is born. And in certain situations, this can be a challenge. So for example, if you've delivered naturally, what usually happens is the baby is put straight on your chest so that you can do skin to skin. And as early as possible, you are able to start breastfeeding your baby within an hour after birth. But things are a bit different if you've given birth through a cesarean section. You might not be able to start breastfeeding within that first hour because you will have to go to the recovery area and they will have to make sure that you are fine. So there will be that separation between mom and baby, and then you might not be able to start breastfeeding immediately in the first hour. However, you can still breastfeed even if, let's say, your operation was done and then you are only with your baby 30 minutes later. Still, as soon as you can start breastfeeding, start immediately. And then, so a lot of women can have a low supply of breast milk. Breast milk might come out very little, and especially in the first few days, guys, the milk that you have in the first few days is called colostrum, and colostrum does not come out in huge amounts. In a lot of women, it will be coming out very little, but trust me, that small amount is optimal for your baby. It's perfect for your baby. Make sure that your baby gets that colostrum. And also, if you're seeing that you are struggling with your flow of milk at the beginning, try and ensure that you change breasts. You feed with this breast, you alternate, feed on this breast, because the more your baby sucks on your nipples, it sends a message to your brain to produce a hormone called prolactin. And prolactin will make sure that more milk is produced from your boobs. And then another hormone that is produced is oxytocin. So oxytocin, as your baby is sucking, it will be produced in your body. And that oxytocin will allow the milk glands in your breast to be squeezed so that milk can come out. So that's why you need to put the baby on the boob. At the beginning, even if when you squeeze your nipple, nothing is coming out, still put the baby on the boob, let the baby start sucking, and you might find that like 30 minutes before you were squeezing your nipples and there was nothing coming out. But after you let the baby feed and suck on the breast, then you see that, okay, now milk is starting to come out. So make sure that you do breastfeed, let the baby latch, let the baby suck on the breast. Those hormones will work and it will help you to produce milk. So that's one of the first challenges that women experience. And then another challenge that women experience is having like nipples that are not protruding well enough for the baby to be able to latch properly on them. So some women have like very, very flat nipples that make it so difficult for the baby to suck on them. Or other women, they have nipples that are nice and they're protruding. However, for some reason, baby is just struggling to latch, or baby is just lazy to suck. Because one thing about breastfeeding, guys, it needs effort from the baby's side. And if you have a lazy baby that is lazy to suck and actually put in the work, babies that just want to open their mouths and something must come out, it's not gonna work. So you'll find that with some babies, you can use a nipple shield, and I'll put a picture up here of what a nipple shield looks like. So the nipple shield, it will just go on top of your nipple, and it helps the baby to be able to suck much more better and much more easier, especially for those very lazy babies who just don't want to put in the effort to suck. That nipple shield is sort of like a baby teat. So you'll find that some babies, they prefer to actually suck on the bottom teat than to suck on the mom's boob. And then also, if you find that to be a challenge, your baby just does not want to latch or suck on your nipple, you can try expressing your milk. You can use a pump, or you can express manually, and then you can cup feed the baby, or you can express into an actual bottle and let your baby drink from that, because some babies just prefer that teat of the bottle. And yeah, babies sometimes, guys, can be so fussy. So if you start maybe your baby at the beginning on the bottle using a teat, you might find that you will struggle with now getting them back on the boob, because sucking on a bottle teat is so much more easier than sucking on a nipple for some babies. So you need to be very careful about what you get your baby used to, because now you might find that it's a struggle to get the baby back on the boob. But yeah, some babies, they genuinely do struggle, and it's so frustrating for a lot of mothers, and also frustrating for the baby, and it may require a lot of patience. But if you start feeding quite early on, it can help. And even if your milk flow is not that much in the beginning, alternate breasts, get the baby to suck on the boob. If your nipples are flat, or if baby doesn't want to suck on the nipples, you can use a nipple shield. Yeah. And then another thing that makes a lot of women choose to formula feed rather than breastfeeding, a lot of women, they say that they are giving formula because they're going to go to work soon. Guys, a lot of women are working, but that doesn't mean that you cannot breastfeed your baby, or you shouldn't breastfeed your baby. Even if you're going to have 3 months of maternity leave or a month of maternity leave, breastfeed your baby for that 3 months or for that month. Any breast milk that the baby can get is good for the baby. So even if you start your baby off on breast milk, for maybe the first 3 months before you go to work, you can breastfeed. And then when you go to work, then you can switch to formula. And then other moms, they can continue to express even when they go back to work, because you can actually store milk for quite a long time, right? So you can pump and store the milk, and when you are at work, your baby can have enough milk to drink throughout the day. So you can be able to store milk in the fridge for 5 to 7 days. And if you put your baby's milk into the fridge, you need to put it in the coldest part of the fridge, not on the door of the fridge. So up to a week you can store. So maybe on weekends you can try and pump and breastfeed, pump milk as much as you can and store it. And then you can store it in the fridge for 5 to 7 days. And then if you want to, like if you really have a lot, like huge amounts of milk that you want to store for your baby, the milk that you won't need to use immediately, you can store it in the freezer. And it's advisable that you freeze the milk within 24 hours after you pump the milk. And if you put the milk in the freezer, you can keep it about 3 to 4 months. So that's a very, very long time, guys. If you see that your milk supply is really good, you can actually pump and keep your baby's milk. You can keep your baby's milk in the bottle, or you can keep it in certain plastic. You can store it in plastic. You can use plastic storage or plastics to store the baby's breast milk. Storage bags, that's the word I was looking for. Storage bags. Yeah, you can use them to keep your baby's breast milk. And then when you want to use that milk, all you need to do is just put it in a tub, and you put hot water in that tub, and then the frozen milk, you can just store it inside that warm water and let it melt. But never put breast milk in the microwave to defrost. No, never do that, because it can actually kill some of the proteins that are in the milk, and those are essential nutrients that your baby needs. So just put it in water and let it cool and let it melt. Okay, and then another thing to remember, if you're going to freeze your milk or put it in the fridge, because in the fridge you can keep it for 5 to 7 days, in the freezer 3 to 4 months, it would be better for you to label the milk and write the date and the time when you put it in, so that you know, okay, this milk has been here now, it's been a week, so I need to get rid of it. So it will be advisable that you label the milk and you know how old the milk is before you give it to your baby. Okay, so then other problems that breastfeeding women experience is engorgement on the breast. And now usually this happens when one breast it's so full of milk and it just becomes big and swollen and very, very sore. So to counteract that, you need to alternate your breast. If for this feed you use this breast, next feed move on to the other breast, so that you can empty both breasts, and then we don't have one breast just being too full of milk and not being emptied, and then it becomes sore. So alternate the feeds. And then another thing, if you feel like the milk is filling up and maybe baby's not able to feed, you can express or you can pump that milk out to empty the breast, so that you don't have to deal with engorged breasts. And then another thing that women struggle with when they are breastfeeding is having cracked nipples. So this is a result of the baby not latching or sucking properly on the breast. So when you are feeding, you need to make sure that the baby has latched properly and a tight seal has been formed between your nipple and the baby's mouth. And then when the baby is done feeding on the breast, you can use lanolin cream, which is also called nipple cream. I'll insert a picture here of some of the nipple creams that you can use. And usually you can't just put the baby on the boob straight off from using the nipple cream. But some babies might not like the taste of the nipple cream, and you actually have to wipe it off. But when your baby is not feeding on the breast, you can apply the cream so that it can help to relieve any soreness or any crack that is there in your nipples. And then another thing that you can have if you are breastfeeding is some lumps on the breast, which are caused by blocked ducts. So if you're having those blocked ducts, so the milk cannot flow and it ends up forming a big lump, that can be like very, very sore. And it can even develop into an infection if it's not sorted out, quite early. So what you can do to release some of the pain from these blocked ducts, or to try and unblock them, you can use like warm compresses on the breast, or you can take a hot shower, anything that's gonna allow the opening of those ducts, and so that the milk can flow. And then another thing is to breastfeed frequently, or to pump frequently. So yeah guys, those are some of the challenges that you can expect as a breastfeeding woman. It is not easy, guys. It's not easy. It's not an easy journey, especially in those first few days. But if you are committed to making it successful for your baby, it can actually work. And some women, they legit just don't have any breast milk. No matter what they try, even if they put the baby on the breast and the baby latches and sucks, but the breasts just are not producing any milk. And sometimes if you've given birth preterm, your baby is preterm, less than 37 weeks, you give birth, your boobs might not have been ready to produce breast milk. And now, especially if your baby is in like ICU and your baby is not there to suck, you might struggle with your milk flow. So there are medications that you can be prescribed to help your boobs to make milk, right? So don't despair, guys, even in the most dire situations whereby you've tried everything but your milk is still not coming through. There is medication that can be prescribed to help you and to help your boobs to make milk for your baby. And the sooner this is started, the better. So you don't have to despair. Yes, there are a lot of challenges. It's not an easy journey, and you might be having to deal with heavy boobs, full breasts that are always just leaking all over the place. But luckily, there's a solution to almost all of the problems that you can have, and you can overcome all the obstacles and give your baby the best, which is breast milk, your breast milk. It was designed for your baby. It has everything that your baby needs. So I really hope that a lot of you women can be able to breastfeed your baby. It also helps with the bonding. You and your baby can bond way more if you are working together to feed your baby. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about in today's video, and I really hope that you enjoyed it and learned something. And if you did, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, to subscribe to my channel, to click on the notification bell, and please share this video to other moms as well, so that they can be able to learn from it. And also, please let me know, how was your breastfeeding journey? If you have a baby, did you try and breastfeed? What were your challenges that you had? How did you overcome them? What are the tips and tricks that you learned about? And let's all just encourage each other and empower each other in the comment section. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video, and I'm going to see you guys on my next video.